One of the very first prototypes was tested by the third driver of Alfa Romeo, Enzo Ferrari, in Circuito di Modena with the number 27. He won the race, and that body was, of course, a Zagato body. Practically every coach of a Scuderia Ferrari car were made by my grandfather. Mille Miglia was the idea to have a car that you can use every day, racing and winning on a street circuits. The car has not only to be lighter and faster, but has to be comfortable enough to make 1,000 miles. So it's completely different from the idea of racing a car on a circuit. It's a car that you can drive also on a normal road by modifying the body like we were using to do in the 30s, because all these bodies were made especially for Enzo Ferrari or especially for the clients of Scuderia Ferrari. We never stopped making the same approach, that is making cars for the clients, not for the market. The reason why this could be considered one of the earliest supercar of history is that the chassis and the engine has been developed by Vittorio Jano and come from the P2. But the body was an evolution of the idea of my grandfather to build airplanes on cars. The body was super light and even 250, 300 kilo lighter than every other body that has been applied to the same chassis. And this is the mix between lightness and power and reliability that makes the car one of the most unbeatable car of the period. Also, if you consider the 1750, that was a derivative of this car, that was winning on every circuit, and even 8C with a more powerful engine. Alfa Romeo used not to have an internal department for this type of car, so was giving all the coach building outside, outsourcing the coach building to a company that was located just at the front door. So the Testa Fissa is the ultimate evolution of the 6C. Probably the pinnacle of the collaboration between Scuderia Ferrari and Zagato was the year 1934, where the three classes of Mille Miglia has been won with a coachwork of Zagato. And this was the winner of the 1.5 class. In the annuario of Enzo Ferrari, he was promoting the idea of having women as a driver. Anna Maria Peduzzi was one of the drivers of this car. The car was back to Mille Miglia in 1936 and then was continually racing until he was imported by Luigi Chinetti to America, where he participated to a race in Colorado in 1953. The second racing life of this car was dated 2010, when this car was back to Mille Miglia again, with an international team named Scuderia Sport Zagato. And imagine, in the last 10 years, the car was on the podium at Mille Miglia 7 times, and 2 times overall winner. So for me, the Mille Miglia was probably the ultimate test for the supercar in the period. To win in 1930 Mille Miglia, it's already a big success. But winning Mille Miglia at 100 kilometers per hour, it's unbelievable. Already today, you have to think the whole length of Italy with the curve, with the mountains, always keeping the average speed at 100, it looks like it's impossible. It's difficult still today with a modern contemporary car, but you imagine in 1930, what does it mean? This is probably the first supercar of the 30s, but it's also the ultimate 6C. And because it was the ultimate 6C, every little detail of the car tell you about the whole story of the evolution of this model. That goes from the very first one, 1927, driven by Enzo Ferrari, to this last car that perfectly represents the evolution in aerodynamics and in performance of the 6C Zagato. The last 10 years, we kept this car at the entrance of our company, together with the display of all the contemporary cars. This is why, not only because it represents the participation of the Scuderia Sports to Mille Miglia and the result of this car in the Mille Miglia, but also because it represents the fundamental philosophy of our company, that is the bellezza necessaria, the essential beauty. The 6C 1.5 Testa Fissa GS, it's an essential beauty.